Hello and welcome to Talking Good Gaming's match preview of Frankfurt against West Ham United. Second leg of the semi-final. The Hammers trail 2-1 after defeat at the London Stadium with it all to do in Germany. But can they do it? That's what me and Gonzo are here to preview. Look forward to and hopefully predict wins for West Ham United. Anyway, Gonzo, you saw Frankfurt last week at London Stadium. What do you make of them?
Yeah, they're neat and tidy enough. Well organised, tactically sharp. I think Geo, very tactically sharp. Have pace where it counts as well. A good attack really. And not too bad in midfield as well. So yeah, they're dangerous. They're a dangerous team. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I thought they worked hard. I thought defensively, I thought they were a little bit iffy. I thought there was plenty of opportunities there for us, and I'm expecting some opportunities on Thursday night. I think it changed a little bit. I think the score comes into play now, and that's going to change the whole outlook of the game compared to last Thursday. Some of it plays into our hands. Some of it probably plays into Frankfurt's hands. But I expect a similar Frankfurt team. I'd be surprised if the manager came out trying to keep a clean sheet for this one. I think he might feel that they need to score at least once on Thursday to get into the final and to make sure the job's done in 90 minutes. But I thought they worked hard, well organised. I thought their formation... There was no surprises from Frankfurt, which is kind of a good thing and a bad thing. Good thing is we did what they expected us to. They did what we expect them to. But bad thing is they still won. They didn't do any surprises, yet still won. And that's what sort of bugged me a little bit, that there wasn't any tricks or anything. He didn't change formation. There was no players playing in a funny position. Everybody was where they were meant to be. They did what they usually do, and they still won the game. And it's kind of a bit disappointing. I thought there was elements of their tactics that caused us plenty of problems. We'll get onto that when we look at the West Ham team. So yeah, impressive, but not unbeatable, I think is how I would possibly sum up what I felt about Frankfurt. Anyway, Gonzo, would you like some team news for Frankfurt? I've got some good news and some bad news.
Is their right winger injured?
No, I'm afraid not.
Was his name McAnuff or something like that? What was his name?
North.
McMuff. What?
North.
Mum. Okay. I read it as Muff. There you go.
Anyway, he was one of the players rested. Frankfurt played Bayer Leverkusen last night. A few players were missing. One suspended, a couple of injured, a couple of rested as well. But anyway, looking ahead to Thursday, good news for Frankfurt fans. Ndicka and Jakic is back from suspension. They missed the first leg, and both players will go straight into starting 11 as well. I would argue that Ndicka is their best centre-back too. So he's back for Frankfurt. However, bad news for Frankfurt, good news for West Ham United fans is Lindstrom, who's one of the attacking midfielders, played alongside Kamada, is unlikely to feature on Thursday. He's not ruled out completely yet, but he's unlikely. While Hinteregger, who's the big, giant centre of the centre-backs, he is 50-50 at best to make this game. So while two are back, they may be missing two as well. Now, before we talk a little bit more about Frankfurt and also give you some statistics, which might build your hopes as West Ham fans, if you'd like to support the channel, you can do from £3.60. You get more video content over on Patreon, patreon.com/HammersChat. Links in description in the pinned comments. We're bang on about it this week, and then we'll shut up about it for the next 3 weeks, I promise you. But just bear with us. But if you don't mind getting more video content, including my opposition prediction for the Frankfurt game, we've got the breakfast show Thursday morning, then the player ratings Friday morning. Charlie did a Patreon podcast last night. Gonzo's got a Patreon podcast coming up this week as well. So there's loads of content over there as well. And coming up, I can tell you, we've got a giveaway this month. We've got 2 Man City tickets to give away, a signed Fabianski shirt to give away. And even Gonzo doesn't know this. En route to me right now, I've got a signed Mark Noble shirt and a signed Elise shirt. And we're giving all that away to patrons. Links in description to join up. Massive thank you to everybody who does. You literally made our dreams come true. But can West Ham continue to make our dreams come true in another way? Let's discuss that. But good news, or sort of optimism, if you like. Frankfurt have only got 2 wins in their last 11 games. That was, of course, away to Barcelona and away to West Ham United. Not bad 2 wins, though, is it?
No, absolutely.
Before Monday night, though, on the other side of it, a flip side of it, so while that's good for West Ham, flip side, before Monday night, they'd only lost 2 of their last 13. They obviously lost to Bayer Leverkusen, but it was a very rotated Frankfurt side. I think you can discredit that one. Anyway, Gonzo, players you admire from Frankfurt?
Well, that one, whatever his name is on the right-hand side, I thought he was a thorn all game, really. A thorn in our side all game. I thought he caused, well, obviously, you know, he caused the ultimate problem, didn't he? But aside from that, I thought he gave Cresswell massive problems all game as well. I think that was a bit of a tactical triumph for them. Your man with the old cross stitch there. He was excellent as well. I mean, it was really the speed in which they implemented their tactical plan was impressive. And funny enough, you said the guy's, whatever his name, Hitchhiker or whatever, you said he's 50-50. I thought he was the big guy, right?
Yeah, he's like 6 foot, something ridiculous.
Yeah, I thought he was good. I thought he was a good player. I mean, they've got some good players there, but as you say, they're not unbeatable. They're not unbeatable, but have they got loads better players than us? No, I don't think they do, but I think their manager was better than our manager on the day, really. Just, he had his number, and that's something that's Moyes is going to have to try and work on.
Impressive keeper as well, wasn't he, Trapp? I thought he was fantastic. Every time we sent the ball into the box, he just caught it. It was almost like the German Nick Pope.
Yes, he did. Yeah. Good point. Yeah, look, good team, Gio. Good team. And I'll tell you what, it can't be easy in that German league. It can't be to stay motivated. Do you know what I mean? Because even you look at someone like Borussia Dortmund, and who you look at and think, they're a big super club, and you look at, they're so far off Bayern Munich. Basically, nobody wins the league apart from Bayern Munich. I just think it must be hard to get yourself motivated as a club in that. And fair play to the manager for keeping their eyes on the prize, where they're basically in a league where it's, number one, they can't qualify for Europe. The league itself is uncompetitive, and yet he can focus all their energy that they could turn up in Europe, turn it on, and play at such a good pace, be so tactically switched on, and have the players, really up for it. I think that's really good man management, actually. Yeah,
unbeaten in European football this season. In fact, the only team left in Europa League that's unbeaten. We've also got beaten by them. Leipzig have gotten beaten in the early stages. Granted, it was Champions League, and then obviously Rangers got beaten in the first leg to Leipzig. So Frankfurt, the only remaining team yet to taste defeat until Thursday. Until Thursday, maybe. But anyway, players I admire, Bora. I thought Bora was excellent. Their striker. I thought we struggled to mark him completely. I thought he kept dropping deep. We didn't know what to do. Neither Dawson or Zuma went with him, but he wasn't far enough deep that Rice or Souček could pick him up. He was just occupying almost like no man's land, if you like. And every time he went in there, Frankfurt seemed to find him. I thought they were absolutely brilliant with that link-up play. I thought Kamada was excellent. Obviously got the goal as well, but I thought it was sort of him, that left number 10, if you like. I thought he was really good. Kostic was fantastic. But I'm a bit wary with Ndicka coming back, because that just strengthens that left-hand side of their team is a side that I fear. And I thought we had a bit of an opportunity last week, and I thought we used it well with Jared Bowen. I thought Bowen took advantage of Ndicka not playing, but he's going to come back in at left centre-back now, and that's just going to strengthen that side of the pitch even further, which gives me area for concern, if you like. I thought they were really good in the middle of part two. I thought Lanzini couldn't get a sniff against them. I thought he was bullied, actually. Lanzini doesn't mind a little bit of the knit and grit. Doesn't mind putting tackles in or anything like that, but they just brushed him aside. A bit like what Rob Holding did for the corner on Sunday, just moved them out of the way. I thought Frankfurt was doing that a little bit on Thursday. So plenty of good players. Now, before we talk about the West Ham team, this video is in collaboration with BetMate. Who is that? I hear you ask. Don't worry, they're completely new. We hadn't heard of them either. But they reached out and said, oh, would you like to work together? So we said, well, hang on a minute. We're going to have to go check this out. So I've been playing for the last couple of weeks with BetMate, to make that clear. I've been playing for the last couple of weeks to check them out. I've been quite impressed. So we're collaborating with them for the rest of the season. Now, this is a gambling product, so you're not into gambling or anything like that. And please gamble responsibly. If you're not into gambling, please skip ahead for the next 90 seconds, and we'll put a timestamp in the description so you don't have to hear the advert for this gambling product. However, it is a low-cost fantasy league team. It's a 6-7-a-side fantasy league team. I'm going to put my team up on the screen just now, and you can see what I'm on about. It costs £2 to enter for Thursday night. £2. The winner gets £50. There's a £100 prize pot to be divided about. The top prize is £50 across both European semi-finals. There's different ways of scoring points. So while you've got your traditional clean sheets and your goals and assists, there's also points for tackles and interceptions. So the lowest players that don't often score can pick up points, like Declan Rice, for example. And there's no budget. You don't have to worry about anything like that. Get it downloaded. The link's in the description. I'm going to be playing. Gonzo's going to be playing. Charlie's going to be playing this week. And in the build-up show, we'll be having a look at each other's teams. Also, on Sunday for the Norwich game, we've got a bonus pot. Hammers Chat viewers will get entered into a pot, and it's £50 to the winner and costs nothing to enter. Links in the description and pinned comments. Get it downloaded. If you're a little bit unsure, when you sign up, you can get a £100 free play pot as well for various different games, just to get a little bit of a feel in case you're not too sure about putting money in. Anyway, All details in description, pin comments. Massive thank you to BetMate. Pleasure to have them on board. And hopefully myself and Gonzo can win a bit of cash on Thursday night. Right, Gonzo, before we get into the West Ham team, how are you feeling? Because for the first time, Sevilla, we were 1-0 down, but we were playing at the London Stadium second leg. Lyon, it was a draw to the first leg. But this one, we're 2-1 down, going away. So it's the sort of new territory to us, if you like, as fans, and obviously as a team. So how are you feeling ahead of Thursday night?
Angry.
Angry?
Betrayed. No, I've got the ump. I've got to be honest with you. I've got the ump about it. I'm really not happy with how we've performed in the last few weeks. I must be honest with this. I'm not happy with it at all. That being said, we were all right for the first half against Arsenal, and I thought there were times when we were all right against Chelsea. But make no mistake about it, that is far from Arteta's team in full flow. I didn't think that was a very good Arsenal team we faced. We saw them in full flow earlier on this season. Also, I thought Chelsea were awful. Oh, it's nothing like Chelsea of the start of the season, by the way. So, but I'm not very happy with how we played. I'm not very happy with certain players. I'm very unhappy with. I've got to be honest with you, how David Moyes is moaning at the moment about a lot of stuff that was directly in his control and a lot of stuff that he is directly responsible for. And I've made a lot of allowances for David Moyes this year. I haven't needed to make allowances. He's been absolutely brilliant. He's got us to this stage. I'm not sure there's another manager, given his budget, that could have done that. But I find it incredibly frustrating having got us to this stage that it basically some of the decisions have happened in the last 2 or 3 games have been that way. And he has been moaning an awful lot. And I thought when Antonio arrived as a substitute against Arsenal, I thought he was moaning a lot as well. And I don't like what I'm seeing, because I think the demeanour and the attitude of the players is really, really important. So I'm really concerned up ahead of this game, because I don't like the vibe I'm seeing coming all the way from the managers down from the players. I'm not seeing excitement. I'm seeing excuses and I'm seeing moaning, and I'm worried about that.
Yeah, I think what you've just said is fantastic, actually. I don't disagree with any of it at all. And in a weird way, I don't feel like this week's got a second leg of a semi-final. I don't feel the build-up. I don't feel the excitement at the minute. Of course, when I say I don't feel it, not just myself, just in general on social media, and I think there's a real nerves kicking in. I think the people are almost fearing the worst, if you like. And like you said, there's almost a bit of these negative vibes coming out of the club at the minute. It doesn't feel like many people are enjoying themselves. It is a long old season. I think it's starting to take its toll on some of the players. And while I talk about how Frankfurt have won 2 games in the last 11, we've only won 1 in our last 7. So neither team's headed into this in particularly great form. When I was doing my sort of team for this preview, I did the defensive part really fine, and it went really quickly. Then I put in Declan Rice. I got a bit stuck. I thought, well, what now? Because nobody deserves to play next to Declan Rice at the minute. Actually, one guy might, but I'm not sure I want to play him. You put in Jared Bourne, and I'm like, well, what else do I do now? Because he's out of form, he's out of form, he's out of form. He got bullied last week, and it's a bit of a struggle, actually. And I just feel almost ill-prepared going into this second leg of a semi-final. It's a massive game. Part of me thinks that it might actually help us going in a goal down, because it says to Moyes, you must attack. You have to go there and score at least 1 goal or you are out. Therefore, it forces Moyes' hands to pick a bit of an attacking team for this one. And it puts a bit of pressure on Frankfurt, really. I think it was quite an even tie prior to kick-off at London Stadium. Now, Frankfurt are favourites to go through, given that they've got a 1-goal lead at home. It might help us, but it's difficult to get up for this one, I think, because we're just out of form at the minute and we're looking a little bit tired. And like you said, everybody's got a little bit moany. Here, me and you are moaning as well. And I think it's just because we're such a massive occasion and it just doesn't feel like we're in the best place for it, if you like. Hopefully we'll get up for it. But let's talk about our defensive team then. Obviously, the good news is David Moyes has got 3 centre-backs to choose from. Craig Dawson, Kurt Zouma and Issa Diop are all available for him, should he wish. Ben Johnson's a little bit iffy. He was missing from the squad on Sunday due to a thigh injury. Expectation is he will be back on Thursday, so you can include Ben Johnson if you wish, Gonzo, in our hypothetical 11. So, Areola in goal?
Yes, indeed. Definitely now, Areola in goal.
We started with a back 3, I think. Frankfurt, although it wasn't quite, this is disputed, but let's just say it was a back three for the sake of it. Would you like to continue with that, or would you like to switch to our usual four?
No, I want my back three, not whatever hybrid thing this was.
Okay, let's see what you've got then. What you got?
Which is Dawson, Zuma, and Cresswell as the back three.
Why? Why a back three, not back four?
Because I can't think of I don't want to drop Cresswell because I think it may well come down to small margins on this. It may well be a corner. It may well be a free kick. I want him on there to have the left-footed delivery. And the fella, the fast fella, whose name I can't pronounce, worries the hell out of me. I've had enough, mate, quite frankly. And if we need to put someone fast there, and I'm going to deploy Fredericks as the left wing back to detail to mark him. This is what I want to do. I need another barrier in front of Cresswell, basically, to stop this fast speed merchant running around. So, yeah, that's what I'd do. And it doesn't matter whether Johnson, it'd be nice if Johnson's on the bench, but I'd be playing Soufal for this one for the extra attacking impetus that I feel he gives us.
I debated a back three in my hypothetical 11. The reason being is because I want a centre back to have the responsibility of tracking, marking the striker. You mark him, where he goes, you go. So essentially, it's to some extent a back four, but one of the three centre backs would be following this guy around the pitch because I was sick of it. By the hour mark on last week, I was sick of watching their striker drop 10 yards and get the ball, turn around and facing our defence. And Declan Rice was screaming at their centre backs, and you have to take notice of that. You can't ignore when your captain is that angry with your centre defence pairing. There's an issue because Declan Rice comes across as quite a very patient person. So for him to get to this point, bear in mind it took him until the 90th minute to snap with Nketiah's time wasting and whatever he was doing. It took him 90 minutes for him to snap there. So for him to scream at his own teammates like that must have been really bucking Declan. I got sick of it. So I want somebody almost taking Borat out of the game. If he drops, you go with him. But against Arsenal, I felt like Kurt Zouma was doing that with Nketiah. So I would like to stick with the back four because we need to win. We need to win. I've got a feeling one goal's not enough. I don't think one goal's enough to take this to extra time. I think we're going to need to score twice if we don't want to get eliminated in 90 minutes. So my back four is using the same players as yours. Vladimir Soufal, right back. Craig Dawson, Kurt Zouma, centre back. Aaron Cresswell, left back. Soufal sort of could almost change the game for us a little bit compared to last week with his offensive play. He's looked good against Arsenal.
Yeah, I totally agree, Geo. You know, it was one downside of Johnson era, and Johnson's performed well in Europe this season. I mean, really well, beyond expectations. The Lyon performance, Sevilla performance was more than I thought capable of somebody that's just come through and really playing regularly in the first team this season. He looked like a seasoned European campaigner. Well done. Unfortunately, in the first day against here, I felt that we needed the attacking option from that side. We really did, and I feel that gradually, the more we've seen of Soufal since he's whatever it was, groin or hernia or whatever was wrong with him, since he's had that fixed, he's growing into it. He looks a bit fitter, a little bit sharper with every single game, actually. And I think he's ready to go again. I think he'll offer us. He obviously got an assist against Arsenal. And I think, I would agree, mate. I think he's probably quite pivotal because I think our attack is blunt at the moment. I think realistically, this is where we've lost a lot of our momentum. We're struggling to score lots of goals. Start of the season, we could score 2-3 goals in a game, and do so at a canter and look good doing it. So it ain't a long time since we did that. We did it against Olympique Lyonnais, but we need to find that again. The midfield are struggling to create. We need to find it from somewhere else.
No, this is where it gets a bit tricky, doesn't it? The other half of the pitch, the other half of the team for West Ham.
Yes, it does.
Obviously, two players go straight in. Declan Rice and Jared Bowen are first names on team sheet. Who else are you picking for this one?
Well, I would pick next to Declan Rice. I would drop Souček for this game. I'd have Souček on a bench. I will play Pablo Fornals. I think the worst thing you could do is have regret at times like this. And I just think if he throws out that exact same team and it works, then great. But I think if it doesn't work, then the recriminations will be quite a lot. And I think people will say, "Oh, David Moyes is to blame for this," and he would be right. But also, David Moyes is the one that got us here as well. So I think you've got to balance that up a little bit. But having got us here, I want him to think, hold on a second, things are not great at the moment. You know, the players do, a lot of them look flat. Not all of them. We did have player ratings on the Patreon, Geo. We 4 or 5 players we rated highly against Arsenal. So not everyone is flat. There's people there able to give good performances. What he's got to do is try and highlight. Now, he's not going to be able to find another 5 players who are full of fizz and buzz. But what he's got to do is drop the most knackered ones or drop the players that are most out of form and work out of the 1 or 2 out of form players that he's got in there, who's most likely to bounce back and get into form. And I think with Souček, I still think he's got a role to play this season. I still think there's an important towering header from a corner or something to come from him. I still think there's a story with Souček this season. I really do. And that may even come off the bench in this game. It could go, you never know, mate. It could go to extra time. But for at the moment, I would not start with Souček. I really wouldn't.
Either would I. It's harsh. I debated it, but we need to score. We need to score in this game. And he wasn't great against Frankfurt last week. If he'd played like he did against Lyon last week, he'd go straight in for this one. But he wasn't very good. And I just think, unlike, I don't know, say Said Benrahma, who I wouldn't say is particularly in great form at the minute, I would argue that Souček's had enough chances over and over and over again. Even when he's not playing badly, he's almost definitely starting the next game kind of thing. And it's just gone on a bit too long, really. And like you said about regret, it's a huge game, this one. We can't afford any mistakes. And we can't afford players who have been out of form for a few months. He's had a couple of good games in that few months as well. But you can count them on one hand. It's not great at the minute. I thought Frankfurt battled really well in the middle. And usually Souček is good at that type of game, but I didn't think he was against Frankfurt. I thought they were a bit more physical than we were. I mean, Souček and Rice, I've seen them dominate midfields before in Premier League, physically and technically. I thought Frankfurt beat us in both departments over 90 minutes last week. That's not good. And it's not Declan Rice's fault. You know, he's the best player on the pitch in terms of ability. He will be again on Thursday. So I would have Fornals next to him as well as Lanzini. And Lanzini's a lucky bugger to get into my team here. I don't think he's been particularly great recently. But A, we're desperate for a goal, and B, the only other player to bring in is Mark Noble. But while he was good against Arsenal, I'm not sure. I think this is a completely different type of game. And also, I'm not going to lie, I want him on the bench in case we go to pens. If this goes to extra time, I want Mark Noble to come on. He will not last 120 minutes, Mark Noble. No. He just won't manage it, right? So if he's only going to do 45 minutes or an hour, I'd rather he does the last 45 minutes and not the first 45 minutes. So for that reason, I probably wouldn't start him, although I think his performance against Arsenal, arguably, perhaps justifies it a little bit. We are going to need to be careful on the ball on Thursday. We are going to need to be calm and composed, and that's something Noble does bring to the game. He will move the ball about nicely. He will help his teammates out and stuff. I would just feel better keeping the ball with Noble and Rice in there rather than Souček and Rice. But not yet, not for this one. If it was the second leg and we were leading by a goal, or it was first leg again, we're ready to do the first leg again, I'd put Noble in, but we're not. How would you line up the rest of your team then?
I would go with Lanzini and Benrahma. Quite narrow, by the way, quite narrow. Behind Jared Bowen.
No Antonio?
No. I would tell him. I'd tell him quite clearly. You know, keep fit, Mickey. Do you know what I mean? Keep sharp, mate. We're probably going to give you 45 minutes in this one, and I would deliver it like that because he needs to know. I wasn't happy with what he said about him being disappointed to be dropped for the Chelsea game. I'm really annoyed actually about that. What he's saying is, I'm the striker. I should be playing. You know, he's just not played well enough. He's not scored enough goals, anywhere near enough goals, actually. And I thought his best energy when he came on against Arsenal was reserved for running and complaining about Arsenal. Now, don't get me wrong, they're a frustrating team, but I think I covered that in another video. Horrible to watch Arsenal and the way they time waste and all the rest of it. Ugly team, right? All right, you don't get any. You know, I understand Rice's frustration. I understand Antonio's frustration, but obviously the most energy he spent in that game was complaining to the referee, running over to the referee. Just concentrate on the game, mate, because actually they've won. They've completely knocked you off your game, and I would expect someone to sat on the bench to come up with real energy, and I don't feel he did. I thought, wow, I can't believe he's come on as a substitute, and he's like that. And I would have had a word for him as well. I would be saying to him, you know, look, the goalposts have been moved with you in terms of this season. We've done everything we can as a club. We've really put our faith in you. And regardless of whether you think it was a good or a bad decision to go one striker, I think it's bad. A lot of people would agree. The club and David Moyes put their faith in him as you know, and he said, give me the number 9, I'll do it. And then he decided to go and play international football. Why? Because he wanted to hunt glory, right? I get it. I understand. I really do. Well, that's gone, mate. You know, you're not going to the World Cup. Actually, your chance of glory is right here, right now. This is it. Because the fact of the matter is, if we don't get through this now, we may or may not get to another semi-final again. If we do, I've got to say, because Moyes has got the ump with him, and you can tell it won't. Mikel Antonio won't be leading the line next time. That'd be, you know, Moyes will buy a striker. I know some people will laugh and say it's taken him 18 months. He still hasn't got one yet. But this is it. This is his chance of glory. As I would say this now, it does not get any better than this. This is your best chance. It's the same for a lot of the players. This is it. This is it. That stuff you were dreaming about when you were kicking the ball around in the park of getting. It's now. It's now. You have to win this game and the next one, by the way. But you cannot be coming on with that attitude that we saw against Arsenal, and that's why I wouldn't start him.
I would start him. So my front three, so I've always gone for 4-3-3 here. My front three would be Bowen on the right, obviously, Antonio on the left, and Yarmolenko up front. We need goals. If you said to me, apart from Bowen, who do you think will score for us on Thursday? My answer is Yarmolenko. It's maybe I'm maybe being a bit naive and daft here, but I think in terms of finishing, I think he's one of the best we've got. We saw it against Sevilla. We saw it against Aston Villa. I thought he played quite well against Chelsea. Didn't get a chance against Arsenal. It was a stupid time to put him on. Played for the 23s last night. Now, I'm not picking him because he's played for the 23s, right? But this is a reflection of Yarmolenko's attitude, and it's important to know that Yarmolenko asks to play for the 23s. He's not throwing Moyes and put him in the 23s. Yarmolenko wants to play for the 23s because he wants game time and he likes working with the youngsters. He played for the 23s on Monday night. He won convincingly, but he scored again. But there's an attitude. There's somebody who doesn't have a future at West Ham. Gonzo's talking about Antonio not having a future because we're going to go out and spend 50, 60 million to replace him. Yarmolenko ain't got a future because he ain't got a contract. But yeah, here he is, 3 league games before the end of the season, playing for our under 23s. The attitude of that guy is remarkable, I think. And it's going to come down to test of character on Thursday, as well as tactics and individual performances. It's also going to come down to character. And Yarmolenko's got it. And I think he's also got the finishing. And it is a gamble to play him up front. But you know something? I think it's just a bigger gamble to do that as it is to stick with Mikel Antonio up front, hoping he's going to eventually score. Now, I know he scored last week against Frankfurt, but had he not been there, Declan Rice would have put the ball in the back of the net anyway. And his performance wasn't particularly great. He scored, and he's lucky he scored because that boy stopped him getting a 2 out of 10 and got him a 5 out of 10 instead. So, but I would stick him on the left, Antonio, and the reason being is because we are struggling for goals at the minute. I feel like we're struggling to create much, and I just think maybe Antonio just away from that striker position, because actually one thing Antonio has been good at in the last few months while he's not been scoring is creating goal scoring opportunities. The problem is he's the one that's supposed to be getting on the end of them. We saw it against, I don't know, it was a home game anyway. He's in the corner, he flicked it past the guy and banged it across the 6-yarder. A fantastic cross. The problem is no one was in the box because he's the one that's meant to be there. Get him on the left. Let's get him up against I'll get him away from Frankfurt's best 2 centre-backs, put him up against the other one. Let's get those crosses in from Soufal and have Yarmolenko and Antonio to aim at rather than just one of them. Yes, Trapp is good in there, but you know something? If this Frankfurt team go for a low block, we're going to struggle. We are going to be limited to crosses regardless of whether we like it or not. So I think we've almost got to prepare for it, and that is by getting 2 players in the box that can actually head the ball. I'm aware Souček would be a third, but I've seen Souček in the team the last few weeks not getting in the box when we're crossing it. So I don't think him being centre midfield is going to make too much difference for this one. So yeah, I'd go curveball because I think we do need to go with a curveball for this one. But I'll tell you what, Gonzo, picking the attacking side of your team, it's not easy, is it? I mean, you're almost picking players out of hope rather than form.
It is hope. And David Moyes will pick Souček, and it will be out of hope. David Moyes has no data. And no data at all to suggest that Souček's going to do. But as I say, I think he's got a role to play this season. I do. I think there's still a story left to run. And actually, when you're looking at something for this game and your hopes for this game, and there's not a lot of evidence there. but so you're looking for an intangible. You're looking for a dream. You're looking for some magic. You're looking for some magical force that's going to somehow propel West Ham, and somehow we've got the inertia to go all the way through and lift a trophy. But you can't point to anything from it. Frankfurt looked the better team. Their manager looked switched on, you know. They've been telling me all week on YouTube that they've got better fans. And, you know, there's all of this stuff going on. And it's very precious little evidence to look at it tactically and think, how can we win this game? But this is the last chance saloon. It's some players are featuring that game. It's their last game for West Ham. We don't know exactly who yet. I think there's some big performances to come. But ask me to explain why and how and who, I don't know.
Well, two big questions coming up. Before we get on to them, we will be live at 6:55 on Thursday night. 6:55 with our live build-up show. We'll be taking a look at the West Ham team as well as the Frankfurt team. Getting excited, interacting with the live chat. So if you're not heading out to Germany, please do come back at 6:55 on Thursday evening to the Hammers Chat YouTube channel. We've got everything you need on the match day and join us in the build-up to the big game. But Gonzo, the competition might change, the team might change, the striker might change, but the question never will. Are you confident?
No, I'm not confident at all. Far from it. I'm nervous and I'm worried. Trepidation. Yes, it's massively nerve-wracking. And all I can hope is that's just us. There's hope that there's enough personality in that backroom team, and people like Noble and Rice, by the way, that can inject some sort of positive messaging into the team so as they're not feeling like us, that something has happened on that training pitch this week so they're not feeling like us. Something I just want something, as long as they're getting messaging that is not the stuff I'm seeing in the media, basically. I'm worried that the training ground is like we're seeing the public face of the club at the moment. But it's hard to be confident, yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult. Let's do some positives then. Let's do some positives. I've rattled off a few. If I missed any, you check something as well. We've got centre backs fit. We do. Yeah, that's a big difference. Zuma was patched up with no training for the first leg. I doubt he would have had a training session with the rest of the team. So he's back now. Got Dawson, and then Diop will be on the bench if we need him as well. So bar Bona, all our defenders are available, which feels like not something we've been able to say for a little while. We know we can do it. 1 win in 7. Form's not great, but what a bloody win it was. Away to Lyon as well. 3-0, convincing victory. Just slap them to one side and cruise through to the semi-finals. One of the best performances we'll see West Ham play. Jared Bowen's in incredible form at the minute. Declan Rice is world-class and will be the best player on the pitch on Thursday. So we've got the best player on the pitch on Thursday. We've got someone that's banging in the goals on Thursday night, regardless of our strikers doing it or not, regardless of Souček's out of form or not. At least the guy next to Souček's that good. The guy next to the striker is capable of scoring goals. I'm running out now, but I'm joking. But we know, worst case scenario, we get beaten Thursday, but we also know we will work our arses off. The players will give 100%. They will be committed. Moyes will have tactics. Whether they work or not is yet to be seen. He will have this team prepared. He will have done, I imagine, more homework than ever on this game to try and make sure that everything's just done to fine details so that everything's ready for. So Fowl's back in the team now as well. We both want him in for his attacking threat. And I actually think Johnson was the right choice last week, but it became the wrong choice as soon as they scored after 40 seconds. Well, Moyes doesn't have that now. We are the underdogs going into this one. Any positivity, Scons? Let's throw some positives out there.
Yeah. Look, we've got the best player in the competition, and Declan Rice. That's got to count for something. It really does. Benrahma's bound to curl one into the top right corner at some point. Lanzini's beard is looking really good. It's taking on quite a shape at the moment as well. Little streak of grey in it, I've noticed, which obviously, as all the best people do, have that going on. Areola, he can catch a ball, can't he? Set pieces, we're really good. The Dawsonator's back. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. I'll tell you something as well. If Zuma is anything like he was against Arsenal, that is massive. If you can get peak Zuma at the same time as you can get prime Dawson. I don't know why one's prime and one's peak. You can swap it round if you want. if you want a peak or prime on either one. But if they're both in tip, I don't know why I'm doing that. Mime, that looks a bit rude. If they're both in tip top,
that's Hariola.
It's Ariola. That's number 25. Not quite the full bullseye. Sorry, excuse me.
You don't have enough of them, do you?
Absolutely. If they don't score. If those two players are on top form, Frankfurt ain't scoring. So there's a real positive there as well. And we do, as you say, if Bowen have an informed player with a real eye for goal. I think he's 16 now for this season. It seems I don't even remember when the last time that was. I don't know. Someone will tell us in the comments. Whenever we say someone will tell us in the comments, what always happens is 10 people tell us in the comments. So somebody, and lots of them, will always tell us in the comments and let us know when the last time was. If you wouldn't mind, please. Somebody scored more goals than Jared Bowen. Do you know? Gio, do you know?
Antonio last season, right?
Was it? Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. Don't bother with the comments then. Okay. Well, there you go. So Jared Bowen, that's a positive. Jared Bowen is almost as good as Antonio last season. And if that doesn't get you up for the game, nothing will.
I could be wrong though. Anyway, I'll be honest with you. I'm not too confident for this one. I think it's hard to be. We're bang out of form at the minute. There's too many players bang out of form at the minute as well. Defensively, I'm feeling good about the team. I'm feeling we're strong going into this one. And if it was 0-0, maybe I'd feel confident, but we're not. We're going there chasing the game. And I think while it plays into our hands as fans, because it forces our manager to put out an attacking team and then go get the goal, that will help us. But I do think it also plays into Frankfurt's hands because they look good counter-attacking. We will get opportunities to score on Thursday. They will not be defensively. They will not be good enough to keep us out for 90 minutes. But, my worry is, I know what you're saying, but I'm not confident. Even with a prime Zoom and a peak Dawson, I'm not confident we'd keep a clean sheet because I think we have to throw the kitchen sink at it. Eventually, as the game goes on, I expect to see a very organised team like the second leg against Sevilla, where we commit players forward, but we don't overcommit. It's a very responsible performance. I think we will see that on Thursday. But there's only so long you can play like that. And if it's not going your way and you've not scored, you've then got to take the shackles off. And I'm not talking about the last 10 minutes. You've got to give the players enough time to do something and throw the kitchen sink at Frankfurt. I think when you do that, I think that's when you allow Frankfurt in as well. Can I get any final thoughts from yourself as well as your all-important score prediction? And if you're going to go for a 1-0 West Ham win or a 2-1,
I've got it. No, say no more.
Yes.
Say no more. I've got it covered. Covered. Now, I am reticent to predict a West Ham win because out of however many years we've been doing this, I've never known such a sensitive bunch of fans that when I would sit here and predict that my own team might win, got so offended. So I was going to predict that West Ham were going to win in normal time, 1-0. But I didn't want to upset the Frankfurt fans because any set of fans that can organise 3,000 people to all wear the same T-shirt should be respected. Let's get that right. So I reckon West Ham 2, Frankfurt 1. Extra time, right? And penalties, and then we'll be coming to do this show either very, very upset or very happy.
Which do you think it'll be? What's your heart saying? My
heart says we'll be unhappy, but I've got a feeling. I've got a feeling there's some story left to tell here. I really do. What's the lady's name? I think her name was Bonnie Tyler. She's saying, I need a hero. I'm feeling a hero is coming on. That's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling a hero, my friend. I don't know who it could be. An unlikely hero. Unlikely hero.
Antonio, everything you've just said. That Suchek character you were talking about.
Yeah, mate. Ben Rama cut it in. An unlikely hero, mate. I've not written us off.
I'm the opposite of you. My heart says we're going to do this. My heart says we're going to the final. I think I'm clinging to that performance in France more than anything. That says, well, look how good we can be. But against Lyon, against Sevilla in the second leg, we were good. We were excellent. We almost like we saved ourselves for it. I'm not sure we have, against Arsenal. I thought we were quite committed in that game. I'm not sure we have been saving ourselves for the Frankfurt game. I know they played Monday night and we played Sunday. I don't really think that makes too much difference given that didn't play the first 11 or anything like that. So my heart says we're going through. My heart says we're going to do this. It's fate. Martin Noble going to lift the trophy on his last ever game for West Ham United. He's going to get a 1-minute cameo in Seville, and then him and Declan Rice are going to lift the thing together. But my head says we're going to draw on Thursday. It does. My head says we're going to score, but we're also going to concede as well. And I do just wonder if it's maybe just one hurdle too far, really. I was impressed by Frankfurt in the first leg, impressed by their manager, impressed by their players. And I just think we're running out of steam. I think our squad size is caught up with a few of them, not all of them, but a few of the players I think are just looking a little bit jaded at the minute. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope my heart's right and my head's wrong, and that Thursday night we're celebrating. But I'm going to say Frankfurt 1, West Ham 1 for Thursday night. Heartbreak as well. But anyway, if you enjoyed this preview, do drop a like on and subscribe to the channel. Myself and Gonzo will be back on Thursday evening at 6:55. If you wish to join Patreon, please check out the link. Check out the pinned comments of this video. It's got everything you need to know in there about the Patreon, about BetMate. Everything's in there. Have a little read. If you don't mind supporting the channel, massively appreciated. You can get one of them or one of these as well. Gonzo, I'll see you on Thursday at 6:55 for the build-up show, my friend.
I'm dreading it, my friend. See you then.